Some murders are a mystery. A rare few are an equation, an impossible set of facts that simply do not add up. William Herbert Wallace was a man of meticulous routine, a quiet, 69-year-old insurance collector in Liverpool. His life was a predictable pattern of work, home, and his one true passion, the local chess club. On the evening of January 19, 1931, that routine was broken by a single mysterious telephone call. The call came into the chess club just before Wallace was due to play a match. The man on the phone identified himself as R.M. Qualtrough. He had business for Wallace, an insurance policy to discuss, and asked him to meet at an address on the other side of the city the following night, 25 Menlove Gardens East. It was an unusual request, but it was business. Wallace noted it in his diary. He had no idea he was writing the first line in one of Britain's greatest and most maddeningly unsolvable murder mysteries. The next night, Wallace did exactly as he was asked. He was a man of his word. Just after 7 o'clock, he set out to find R.M. Qualtrough. This is where the equation begins, and every detail is critical. He boarded a tram, then another. He was seen by multiple conductors. He stopped to ask for directions from a policeman and then from several people on the street. No one, it seemed, had ever heard of Menlove Gardens East. For over 40 minutes, William Wallace wandered the foggy streets of Liverpool in a very public, very verifiable search for an address that did not exist. Frustrated, he abandoned the chase and began the long journey home. Just after 8:45 p.m., he arrived back at his front door to find it locked. When he tried the back, that too was bolted. Puzzled, he went to his neighbours, the Johnstons, for help. Together, they went to the back of the house where, to their surprise, the door now opened. Wallace went inside, and a moment later he emerged pale and trembling. "Come and see," he said. "She's been killed." Inside the parlour was a brutal, bloody tableau. His wife, Julia Wallace, lay dead, beaten viciously. But as police surveyed the scene, the equation became even more impossible. There was no sign of a forced entry. The house was locked. Nothing of value had been taken. A small amount of cash in a jar was left untouched. The murder weapon was never found. And then there was the final, baffling clue. A Macintosh raincoat was found partially burned, tucked strangely underneath Julia's body. The police, needing a suspect for this impossible crime, looked to the only person they could: the quiet, mild-mannered man who discovered the body. They believed his entire 40-minute journey across the city was a lie, an elaborate, faked alibi. They arrested William Wallace for the murder of his wife. At trial, Wallace was convicted on purely circumstantial evidence and sentenced to hang. It seemed the case was closed, but the Court of Criminal Appeal, in a landmark decision, overturned the verdict, stating the evidence was simply too weak. He was a free man, which leaves us with the real riddle. If William Wallace didn't do it, who did? Who was the phantom R.M. Qualtrough who made that phone call? How did he know Wallace's precise routine? How did a killer get into and out of a locked house in the sliver of time Wallace was away, kill Julia, and leave without being seen or heard? Another name haunts the case file. A younger, former colleague of Wallace's named Richard Gordon Parry. Parry had a weak alibi, a motive of petty grievance, and a girlfriend who claimed he had a blood-stained glove the night of the murder, but the evidence was never strong enough. The Wallace case is a perfect murder mystery, a puzzle box of flawed assumptions and a timeline so tight it seems to defy reality. It is a crime so perfectly constructed, so logically impossible, that it remains to this day the unsolvable Everest of British cold cases. The Wallace case is a mystery that has stumped detectives and crime writers for nearly a century. Who do you think was the phantom R.M. Qualtrough? Let us know your best theory in the comments below. If you believe that some puzzles are just too compelling to leave unsolved, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Relic Riddles for more classic cold cases. Thanks for joining the Relic Hunt. We'll see you on the next one.